Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. Mike Malott versus Yohan Lainesse. These guys are both fighting for the title of the best welterweight in Canada, I believe. According to Mike Malott, they're the two best. What the fuck do I know? But they are friends. They are friends, like legit friends. I don't know if they, read each other Christmas cards or whatever, but I think Yohan Lainesse even told him about this fight, if I'm not mistaken, which I might be. Either way, I know they're friends and they'll get along after this fight. But for now, for this war, it's a very appropriate matchup. Mike Malott and Yohan Lainesse have the same amount of fights. They each have 10 fights, and they have similar records. Yohan's 9-1. Mike Malott's 8-1-1. Malott, he's very versatile. In his 8 wins, he's got 4 KOs, 4 submissions, and his 1 loss is by knockout, and it was back in 2014, which at this point is almost 9 years ago, to Hakeem Dawodu, who's a current active ass-kicking featherweight in the UFC. And the fight was at featherweight. Mike Malott has since gained 25 pounds. And look, Hakeem Dawodu hasn't, but it's been 9 years, so it's not a big surprise he's gained 25 pounds. And he did graduate to 155 along the way in 2017 and eventually settled into welterweight here for his prime, hopefully, in the UFC. Mike Malott, his one draw that he has came in Bellator. Again, I forget the year, but let's say it's at least 7 years ago. And it was a very close fight in which he dominated early on and then gassed himself out, but showed enough survivability to last for the next 2 rounds. Fortunately, he was given a 10-8 round on 2 of the judges' scorecards for his round 1 effort, almost pounding the shit out of the guy in the end of the first round. And the fight went to a draw in the end. So he was able to walk away without a blemish on his record and learn that lesson the hard way. Which Yohan Lainesse may have learned for his first time in 2022 when he lost to Gabe Green. I think that was 2022. Gabe Green was able to weather the storm. Yohan Lainesse did have him rocked early in the second round, like maybe a minute and a half before the finish. And then Gabe Green survived and then rocked him and got him down. And look, Yohan, he wasn't fighting well after Gabe Green survived his onslaught there. I thought that he looked visibly discouraged and fatigued. And it's one thing to have that in a loss back in 2014 or a draw back in 2016 or whatever when it happened for Malott, but it's another thing entirely for it to happen in 2022. So I trust him less against Malott. Malott is my pick to win this fight. And Malott's looked great as of late, knocking out Mickey Gall, submitting that guy on the Contender Series, Matrinsky. And he is the Muay Thai coach for our Team Alpha Male, I believe. Or maybe he just was the Muay Thai coach. But either way, he's sharpening his grappling. He just beat Trevin Giles in submission grappling. He's been taking submission grappling matches in the last few years. And it seems like he's trying to turn himself into a very dangerous fighter. And I have a higher estimation of him than I do of Yohan Lainesse, to be honest. I do think the odds are appropriate. I expect Mike Malott to win. I couldn't tell you how he'd win. That's the thing. When you don't know about these fighters that much, it's whatever. There's a lot of room for surprises. So I expect Malott to win. I do think he will win. But my only real bet is a sprinkle on Yohan Lainesse by TKO. Because Mike Malott's odds are not enticing at all. If I was sure he was going to a decision, I'd bet on it. But I'd actually think he'd probably be more likely to get the finish. And Malott's finish line is minus 105. Not worth it, again, especially because I can't trust anything really. But I know Yohan Lainesse having 6 knockouts in his 9 wins and throwing everything into every strike I've ever seen him throw up until the Darian Weeks fight. I think his chances of getting a knockout here and finding that one weakness Mike Malott has shown, even if it was 9 years ago, I think it's worth a stab. So I threw a sprinkle on Yohan Lainesse at plus 300, but my only pick is Mike Malott winning. That's my pick. Mike Malott winning this fight. I guess I'd go with him winning by TKO in round 2, the one way I've seen Yohan Lainesse lose. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.